Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, and welcome to a world of a plane that was kind of not there before and now is kind of the name of RRB. The plane in question is the F-104, and this special subvariant is the American F-104C at battle rating 9.7. So there are various different versions of the Starfighter now between 9.7 and 10.0, and they just flood the matchmaker. And as good as the 10.0s might be, for example the G version that I've already showed you as part of the Chinese tech tree with the better missiles, you get very often countered by everything else that flies around because it kind of matches your speed. However, this one, and just watch the scene in question, is just way too fast. So I just had a landing on my frontline airfield and I just took off. And you can count till we reach the enemy airfield where there is the last enemy player. The match has taken way too long, so I'm directly going for it. There is just no point. And so there is just no point in arguing about this plane's performance. It's way too good. It's way too fast. And it gets further amplified by this seeing no up tier whatsoever. You might expect, due to the battle rating bracket black hole magic mechanic, that you will see nothing but full up tiers to 10.3, but that's just not the case. You are always the top tier plane, and I think that this kind of feels like a hard coding thing rather than just pure luck or just by chance. There are so many in the matchmaker. We have full mixed matchmaking, so everything versus everything. And yeah, that was potato aim, but I got the kill anyway, and there was no chance that he had. And so that was the last kill of the match. And so you will see now a battle made out of 4 kills that I got in a single battle. And as extremely fast as this thing is, it's also incredibly unmaneuverable. And I also, on top of this, cheaped out, and I didn't purchase the expert qualification crew skill for quite way too many silver lines to get my pilot more sustainability and more G tolerance. Because it doesn't really matter, to be honest. This thing is nothing but, to make a slight exaggeration, a flying APFSD start. And your worst nightmare are enemy F-104s, because they can actually match you. I had the feeling in the Su-7B, the Soviet one, that it is kind of a counterpart. And yes, it is also significantly faster than anything else, but it can't match this one, and it also doesn't have air-to-air missiles. This plane has 2 air-to-air missiles, 2 AIM-9Bs, and yeah, I think the problem is that you never get into in a situation where you can really launch them and get an easy frag. Yes, there are some blind premium players, there are AFK climbers, sure, but I think you could get them with guns as well. Talking about guns, there is a 20mm Gatling, and you have 750 rounds for it. It has a really high rate of fire, really good muzzle velocity, and also pretty good damage, if I may add this. But it's not an automatic one-shot every single time. This Su-7B, for example, was tanky. Just like the Vautours, the Su-4050s, etc., you know, those jet bombers, they can take a hit more than you would like to, well, pump into them. And so this thing, I use max fuel 30 minutes with the afterburner, which is mandatory because you live and die by your speed. And only if you heavily misplay, there is a chance for enemies to catch you. Another benefit of seeing no up tiers is that you never really see any sort of good missiles being aimed at you. So the worst is the majority of AIM-9Bs, and you just roll a little bit around, or you outright outspeed them. Yes, this is how drastically fast this plane is. So on the deck we're talking about 1300 kilometers per hour with the afterburner, and the climb rate is absolutely absurd. And if you think about it, it also destroys another part of the community, and this is the premium jets. I'm not just talking about the Vautour that I had to pump in multiple shells before this scene as well. No, I'm talking also about all the other premium jet fighters. What about the American F-86, F-35? What about the German G91R4? What about the Soviet MiG-17AS, the British Hunter FGA-9, and also the Japanese premium F-86, F-40, the Chinese Shenyang F-5, the Italian G91R4, and then obviously, as I said, the Vautour for the French, and for the Swedish, the J29D. They have absolutely no business fighting this thing, and yet they're forced to way too often. Now, as drastically as the acceleration and raw power of the engine is, the turning capabilities of this plane are absolutely tragic. They are really, really bad. So I myself don't really feel attracted to this plane. I don't think that this is a fun plane to play for me personally, because there are way too many scenes where I just missed the enemy by just a few millimeters, and it was just because of the plane jumping around and being really wobbly. On the other hand, you could play like an absolute potato and you are essentially untouchable. So this is the destroyer of worlds. And there is just not the American one. The Americans actually got two versions. Another aspect that really makes lower tiers jets worse is, guess what people are grinding this plane with? There are in this patch 3 new American jets. The F-104A, the F-104C, and the F-3H2. That's like 1.17 million RP. So let's make 1.2 million RP out of this. You want to play the F-86, F-35, where you have to face this all the time in mixed matchmaker. You want to have an easier time, right? Yeah, get the F-89D and spam that thing. So that is also making the situation worse for, normal free-to-play players, for players that just want to have a good time. This is just absurd. And again, it's not the only tech tree where we're seeing this plane in. The 10.0 version is kind of stuffed because it also can't turn. The G variant has some better missiles, but its speed get actually matched. But this thing sees nothing but down tiers. And you could see it in the footage yourself with the planes flying by. The highest that I meet is other 9.7s. The lowest that I see are multiple 8.7s. With this performance, this acceleration, and no, that's just a big no-no. It is destroying the fun. It's because of its lack of turning capabilities. Just look how long it takes around and changing direction and getting guns on target. That can be both frustrating for you, but that you're in the other aspect untouchable, that is just not fun to play against. I'm not doing this to myself and playing some other nation's jet at around this battle rating bracket. It's dead. I absolutely see it, and I had conversations with so many people, and this was now the fight of the whales, and I heavily misplayed here, and again I didn't take that fight serious, but it's just a demonstration of how bad this thing turns. It's an absolute flying brick. I know the wings are absolutely tiny, but there are other planes such as the T2 that do kind of a significantly better job at even low tier fighting and adjusting their gun. Did you see how it just completely necked down? That was no control input. This was the wobbling that I was talking about. And again, then it goes with elevator up to kind of trying to stabilize it. I really have to look that I don't crash here. And just for the lols at this point, I realized this is a very good demonstration how bad the turning is. And There are bombers, even jet bombers, that would turn significantly better than this. It's just an extreme demonstration. Don't take this serious. This is not how you use this plane. You keep the speed up. You gotta go fast. You go in a straight line. You kind of boom and zoom enemies. You're a very opportunistic predator. You let the enemy team go into a furball with your team, and then you just go in and zoom out and just pick your fights. You might hunt some jet bombers with the air-to-air missiles. The 20mm is quite good. So this is a plane that absolutely should not be at this battle rating. And can you get it higher? No, because at 10.0 this thing would be completely useless and pointless. Well, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it would be really bad. It would be kind of the extreme opposite, and that just by 0.3 battle rating increase. If that is not a massive indication of the hilarious compression in terms of performance, then I don't know what is. This is, again, not a rant. It's just a fair demonstration of how ridiculously broken this thing is in its raw performance. And I think that, again, a lot of people go with this plane. They want to be the top tier predators, and this is obviously a bit better to come by than some other, high tier jets that have significantly more need for upgrades than this. Because while I got this thing for a test drive by Gaijin, I think even the stock grind wouldn't really change that much, because you don't turn in the first place, and you have fully upgraded such excessive amounts of thrust that I think that also the stock grind might not look too different. Anyway, so that has been the American battle rating 9.7 second F-104 starfighter, the C variant. And I think that this was a pretty good demonstration of what this plane is. Again, it was not really that fun. It was not really that satisfying to say. And I think that's all that there is left to say. That's it for me today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like with it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And we'll see each other on the waves, on the battlefields, and in the skies of War Thunder.